Hi everyone, it's Kay. I have the next step for my sewing box completed, and so I'll go ahead and walk you through that. So the first thing I wanted to do was put pulls on the ends of my drawer. So I'll show you this side that I finished. And so to do that, what you want to do is measure. You want to measure from side to side. The center, you find out the center of your box. So I drew a faint line down the center, and then I just set my pull, my drawer pull, I just set it where I wanted it to be in relativity to top to bottom on that line. So this is the center of my pull, that little dip right there. And I just set that on the center line and then measured where I wanted it top to bottom. Or didn't measure, but just placed it where I wanted it from the top to the bottom. I went a little bit higher than dead center, just a smidge higher. And then I marked the holes where the brads go. You can see there's holes right there for the brads. And so I marked that, and then I measured how far down I went. And so then I did the same thing on the other side. I, drew a line down the center, just a very faint line, not all the way from top to bottom. I just drew a faint line from about here to here. And then I had already measured from the top to where I wanted the pull to be, so I measured that and marked it, and then I just set my pull so it's the same height on both sides. And then I went ahead and marked the holes, or where the holes are going to be on this side, and then you just take a piercer and punch your two holes on each side. And so you can see here I've got my holes punched. And so then I decorated the sides, the outsides of this pull. Now I did do the sides. You don't have to do the sides. It's never really going to show unless the drawer's pulled open. And you might like the look of it having it blank anyway, because you have, the inside of the box cannot be covered. This part of the box cannot be covered because it has to fit. So you may choose not to cover that, and it certainly takes up more paper that you don't necessarily have to use. I don't know, I just did it. I have a lot of paper, so I went ahead and did it, but you certainly don't have to do that. Especially if you're trying to get this done with just a few pieces of paper, you certainly could without covering that inner side. So, and check your box too. You might not have room. I happen to have room in this box, but I'm not necessarily sure I'd have room in every single box. Like I said, they can vary a lot in the making of them, or maybe they warp a little bit. They all tend to warp a little bit, or not to be even, and so you might not be able to cover it anyway. And this box certainly is warped a little bit. That's why I said I don't want to try and have it fitted so much where it comes all the way to the top, because you're talking an 1/8 or 1/16 of an inch difference in height, or the way it sets. And so, anyway, enough about that. So I went ahead, and to put my pull on, after I covered the box, I pierced the holes through the decorative paper. And so then I took glossy accents and put it on. You can see there the flat rim on the pull. I put glossy accents on that flat rim where it's going to sit on the paper. And then I lined up the holes from the box and on the pull and just set it there. And then I held it for a while to let it dry. And so once it was fairly dry, then I put my brads through. I didn't want to move the pull by putting my brads through. The brads will hold it back in place, but I just didn't want, glossy accents smeared all over the box. So, you hold it there for a little, let it dry for a bit, let it set, and then put your brads on. And so then the next step is to, once you have your drawer pulls on, you can cover the sides. And so I've already covered these two sides, obviously. And so once you have your brads through, then you can put these ends on. So don't put those ends on until you put your drawer pulls on. See that? Okay. So once you've done that, then I took this was the piece that is going to set here in my box and make it a raised compartment. And so I just reinforced the fold here with some scrap paper. So just take, you know, a 2-inch maybe piece of scrap paper, and of course cut it to go side to side on this board, where however width you make it. And then just score it in the middle, and then just glue it onto the fold like that. And that just reinforces the fold to give it a little more strength. And so anyway, that's the next step. You do not want to cover the bottom yet. We have to put the dividers in before we cover the bottom. So anyway, that's the next step, and thanks for watching. Bye.